Oh, okay. So actually, I've been stupid. Anyway, so this is my weblog. I mean the SVG tutorial. So I was talking about this, and I'm thinking of writing an application, doing a live coding demo to write an application so that you have input boxes and change values, and you see these. Uh, okay, so okay, this is still bad. Oh, I'm so bad at making videos. But anyway, let's see. And I'm going to answer some questions from my previous videos. Um, okay, so let me go answer some questions. So uh, I got a lot of things to talk about actually. So that is one question, and there is another question. So this guy says, "Hi, Xa, I became aware of you a year ago when you wrote a how-to article for an Emacs repo I created." Which one is that? I don't remember what that is. This from Fullbar. And he says, "It's pleasure to finally see you speak. In the West, we suffer too much from fashion and political correctness. It is nice to hear from someone who does not subscribe. Who does not? Okay, subscribe. Okay, thank you. But I don't remember which what is the repo you are referring to. Anyway, so that's not that's actually not a question. Okay, okay. So, but there is this guy from China. I know, kind of we are acquaintances uh, for a couple of years. But he says sound toxin says, I like that. Hold on a second. Let me actually get my chat up um, so that I can see. So if you have a question, comment, opinions, anything, say it, okay? And actually, I need to fix this as well. Let's just say Xa live stream, okay? Type your comment and whatever. Uh, and also, let me actually talk. Let me put this here. So okay, so that's a list of topics. You can ask me any questions about it. So I'm thinking I'm going to, yeah. Let's go back to answering the question. So there's a question. Sound Toxin says, I like that this topic covers psychology a little bit. I never thought about how video was more natural than reading and writing, but it makes sense. Another topic I would like to see in the future is learning, like learning how to learn new things well, autodidacticism, and pedagogy. You talked a bit about how some people prefer to learn Python through videos. I would be interested in hearing you talk about various methods of learning things and what you think is best. Okay, so this topic, so he's asking about some my opinions or techniques of teaching oneself, like learning stuff, and yeah. So let me begin with that then. That's a topic, interesting topic. Let's see. Let me go back to so this video was yesterday. It's about YouTube, society, and millennial generation, and text versus video of human communication. Anyway, so that's from yesterday, and today we're gonna talk about. Yeah, let me answer that question then. So, okay, so let me answer that question. Um, Teaching, okay, well, learning, self-learning. I for the whole of my life, I don't have a degree. Actually, I don't even have a high school degree. My story is kind of strange and complicated, as you might know. You can you can see from my personality, from the things I write, from my opinions, I'm kind of weird, and that is probably part of the reason why you are watching my videos, because I'm not usual. So I never had a degree, and in fact, in high school, when I was in middle school, I did not even graduate middle school. Instead, I get a certificate that says that I completed, not graduate, but completed middle school. Like, let's see. So in USA, you have high school. Basically, the school systems of different countries are different. So in USA, it typically goes, you have grade school, which is up to grade six, 1 to 6. Like you start with kindergarten, then grade school 1 to 6, then you have what's called high school. Okay, maybe they divide by junior high school and senior high school, but basically the whole high school is like 3 years, 3 or 4 years, something like that. So after high school, then you have uh, what's called college or university, which is 4 years. So after the 4 years, you get a degree, typically bachelor degree. So that's the U.S. system. But in Taiwan, I grew up in Taiwan, which is the system is kind of similar. So after middle school, you have you have after grade school. Okay, after grade school, 1 year, 6 years of grade school, then you have middle school, which is the same thing like U.S. Then you have high school. High school and middle school, they sometimes they are separate. Sometimes they are together, but altogether they are like 4 years, something like 3 or 4 years. So in Taiwan, I was in middle school, but I didn't graduate. And then I left my country when I was 14 years old, and I never got any degree. That's kind of sad, because I actually was not able to go to school, because well, then I even then at age 20 or 21, I got a GED, which is General Education uh, Diploma. Which is a U.S. examination you can take, that if you pass it means basically you have equivalent of high school, um, learnings knowledge. So I got GED, and then I went to community college over here at Foothill College and De Anza College. This is from 1991 to about 1993 or 1994. But I never got any degree. But and ever since that, I basically just learned things on my own. I mean, I always learn things on my own. I learned English on my own. Uh, yeah, so I learned a lot math and programming on my own. So I'm very much into autodidacticism. Like that's a word that means teaching oneself. Learning stuff yourself. Um, I'm very much into that, and I have been like that because, well, actually, most of the reason is just because personality. I mean, that really has a lot to do with personality. Of those of you who are, reading my channel, you are probably also into self-learning, and that is also probably, I would say, due to, it is because your personality, not, it's really, it's mostly, I think it's mostly it has a lot to do with personality. If you are the loner type, if you are a social, if you are a nerd type, you tend to learn things by yourself. Good evening, Isaac. Uh, so Isaac says, yeah, let me interrupt. Isaac says, English on your own. Did you just practice with other people in your daily life? No, because I left Taiwan when I was 14. Then I went to Paraguay with my family. It's a very complicated, troublesome story and family. So we went to Paraguay, South America, and we lived there for a year. Then went to Canada. Well, after Paraguay, we went to Central America, uh, uh, Guatemala, and Salvador. We lived in Central America for half a year. Then we went to Canada, and I lived in Canada for like 3 or 4 years. So I learned English, mostly on my own when I was in Canada. But by the way, I talked about in the past videos. I've talked about how I learned English. I learned English just by reading dictionaries. Like I ignored anything else. So there was a video like a month ago, I don't know when, like a month ago. I talked about the differences between. Okay, how to learn natural language? There's two major differences: speaking and writing. Speaking and listening. That's one skill. Reading and writing. That's another skill. And these two are completely, totally, 100% different. They are actually separate things. And I talked about that a little bit, so you might be interested checking that out. Oh, by the way, let me ask you. I have a question to ask you. So anyway, so I learned English, when I was in Canada, but mostly because I'm not a very social person. I get nervous when I'm not, I'm an introvert. Okay, and so I'm a schizo. So I don't really. I don't go out talking to people. Well, when I was younger, actually, I do. But anyway, so in general, I don't, I don't, I'm not an extrovert, just go out and talk and learn, how do you speak, how do you say something, I don't do that. But instead, I'm a nerd type, so I just read dictionaries. I read dictionaries like a few hundred times a day, every day. And I've been doing that for like over 10 years in the past, as I still do today, every other day, looking up dictionaries. But looking up dictionaries is become my obsessive habit. Yeah, I talked about that a lot because in the past video, in fact, I have several dictionary reviews. I showed my websites and stuff. Anyway, so I learned English when I was in Canada. And we'll get back to the autodidacticism because I need to remind myself where were we? I was talking about. Oh yeah, I was talking about why teaching yourself, learning things yourself. And first of all, I was talking about uh, me, and I think most people. The reason they are so much into that is really because it's actually part of the personality. For most people, a lot of people, learning something one yourself is actually that's not the way they learn. They don't learn. They cannot tolerate just being oneself and read the book the whole day. They cannot do that. They need social interaction. Most people need the social interaction, the need, the interaction with people. You learn things together, or there's maybe a goal, something. So that's just the extra thing I want to comment about this self-learning. And that guy who asked the question, I know him a little bit. We are acquaintances. Hi. And so I'm, from what he posts, I can tell totally he's absolutely a loner too, a loner type. We are a lot of us are into programming language design. The elegance of languages, things like that. Lots of nerds are loner types. So but I'm going to talk about some tips I might have about teaching yourself, but it's no. I don't really. Let me talk about that. But let me ask you a question, Isaac. So did you? So yeah. So yesterday you asked about the open source. Did you watch that video? Uh, I don't think that was the video where I actually talked a lot. more because I remember there's another video which I went more into about me and my my thought about open source. So did you watch that? Was it good, bad? Were you something? Let me know, Isaac. So let's get back to the self teaching. Self learning. So yeah. So learning. So for me, for myself, I learned most things on my own. Because I'm a nerd. I just read all sort of things. And mostly programming and mathematics and tons of philosophy, psychology, and well, any kind of things. I'm kind of a free. I'm a free man. Okay, so I do things. Everything I touch, I start to study it. It's like everything. May it be programming related, software, user interface, or the way I see people talk. What are they saying? Their intonation, their pronunciation, and then there's a issue about speech, your vocal cords, and that's physiology, and that's how that's one way. Okay, let me put it that way. Put it in into the perspective of today's topic, the tips about learning things. So one tip is that you live you have eyes, right? you know your eyes are open. Tech Technically, statistically, about two-thirds of the time you are alive. So your eyes are open, like my eyes are open right now. So I'm seeing things. You go out, or you have dinner with friends, or you go to a bar or whatever, or you go to work, or you drive to work. Whatever you do, or you doing things with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. Okay, your eyes are open. You are seeing things. Any of those things you can learn from it. Yeah, I mean, if you have the mind, if you have the right mindset, okay, and you have in the right mood. So like for example, when you are something happened, some depressing things happened. You are not in the mood. You cannot at that time. You cannot. Oh, I'm going to start to research into depression. Maybe you do that, but anyway. So one of the way you learn, you have to breed a certain curiosity of mind. Well, and again, these tips only kind of only are suitable and applicable to the nerd type of people, because I don't think I think vast majority majority of people, they don't have the mindset, the psychology, like nerds. They don't. They want to talk to people. They have they derive pleasure when interacting with people, and that is also how they learn. They talk to people. I pat your back or whatever. We go to work out together. In a gym or whatever. That's how they learn too. Okay, so what anyway, so but altogether, one way to learn is that you just learn things from every day. You have the mindset to curious about everything. Everything you see, every detail you developed. You can, if you want to, you, or you have the mindset, like you can see things and start to dig into them. Everything, almost everything. Then it it can become deep. Okay, so that's one of the thing about teaching things yourself. That's just a tip. That's just one of the tip. That's not a solution, by the way, because you cannot, because then you get chaotic. Like there's so many things. You need some kind of guide as well. So anyway, so okay, so let me talk about that. So one thing is you observe everything, but the problem, I mean, you cannot totally rely on that because you are directionless. There are a billion, literally infinite things in life. You don't know where to go, like what is worth studying. For example, I see my screen as a white color. Then is it is it worth? Should I start to study all the words about color in English, or should I go into why is it white? Maybe maybe the screen should be black. So is white on black better or black on white better? Or maybe I went into philosophy. Philosophers question what is color, what is white. In fact, Bertrand Russell discussed that to some detail. So what is the color? What does then there's a science aspect of color. Color is a basically uh, magnetic wave. It's what they call it, radio wave. It's a wave of certain length. Okay, and then there's also the aspect of human eye perception, physiology, and also neurons. The neurology. The people scientists study brains, how you perceive. You have the mechanism. First of all, you have a mechanism of visual perception. You have rods in your eye, and how you perceive colors and so on, and how it is different from dogs or birds. So if you just observe things, it can be random, especially if you are younger. You don't have you are goalless. So one of the way, if you are into learning things yourself, is you go to you go to high school, you go to college, you go to universities, you look at what they are teaching. For example, let's say if you are interested in math. Okay. Hey, good morning, Fuba. Great to see you. So electromagnetic wave. Yes. By the way, what repo did I contribute to? I don't remember. Were you in China or were you in America? So back to the topic. So I was saying, yeah. So one way to give you a guideline about what to learn, what to teach yourself, if you are the type, learning things yourself. You don't go to college. So one way is you go to college. You just go there and see. Okay, suppose you are interested in math. You look at their math courses. Like first year college, second year college, third year college, fourth year college. You look at their courses, and you look at their textbooks. You know Now that is one way. That is a very good way, in fact, to give you a guideline. Of how to study. I mean, the direction where to study. I mean, first of all, suppose you have some sense that you are interested in mathematics. So this is a very good method. You go through, you see what colleges are teaching. You have to actually, write down, the courses. You can check different colleges, Stanford University, MIT, or whatever. Write down what the courses they are teaching and what textbooks they are teaching. Then you can follow that. That is one way, a very good guide to put yourself learning that subject matter. Same thing with physics or whatever, psychology. That's one way to do that. So this way you have actually a guide into step by step. Like what are the basic things you must know. I mean, and then what are the other things you can learn. Because if you don't have this guide, a guide like the major steps, what courses or what kind of subject matter to study is actually critical. Okay, because if you do not have this guide, it makes a huge difference. If you do not have this guide, you just start to read random math books. That's almost like self-destruction. Okay, because there are infinite number of things out there. You really, the guide is important. It is like having a good parents. Okay, now some people, some of us do not have parents, or we had our parent. There's no guidance from our parents. That's kind of a sad thing. Or of orphans. Orphans. So So you grow up, you don't have a guide, but as a on everything, as opposed to if you have a good parents family, they they your mom or dad, I mean, even if they are not teaching you, I mean, even they if they are, I mean, it's not about homeschooling, but rather your parents, just by the way of talking and interaction, they give you guide every day, and you can, so a guide is actually quite important. They direct your focus or direction, because without a guide, you will eventually pick up, the proper direction and the proper, which level, which things to study to go up. You will eventually have that, but it is from a engineer's point of view, it's extremely inefficient. Okay, that's the way I learned English by by brute force reading, looking up dictionaries. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about introduction to English. I just start to pick up any novels or newspapers or American, whatever American, Native American, the white American is doing. I just go word by word, and if a word I don't understand, I look up dictionary. That is turns out, as I know now, it's very inefficient. It's like you are wasting 90% of your time. So don't do that. You need to follow kind of guide. Of course, being a nerd type, you can always have your opinions. I mean, as a nerd, a lot of programmers like us, we always want to have like, we have the urge to say, oh no, but I want to be different. Yeah, okay, you say there's a guide, then I'm trying to do something else. that's that's good, but don't do that too much. You need to like, know a guide, not know what should be the right thing to study. Okay, let me see the comments for a bit. The repo rhythms with Emacs anywhere, but the repo rhymes with Emacs anywhere. Uh, Rhymes with Emacs anywhere. I'm not sure what that is offhand. I But okay. It's you guys, I know this is one of my rant about programmers and nerds. I'm very much a nerd, and I very much concerned about privacy, as you know, and I don't want cookies, I don't want JavaScript and all that, I don't want tracking. But however, it so happens I'm used my full name, like my life story is an open book. You can read about just about everything, and also including things normal people do not tell about myself, my life. On the other hand, I have a big rant about you guys programmers. You see, and many who follows me. Okay, nerd types, the hacker types. They don't like, they don't want to. It's like, oh, privacy and all this and that. Yeah, but also they don't want to use their real name. They hide. Like on each social network, they have a different names. Then they, and they. I don't think it's a good thing. Okay, I think you guys really should start with your real name. Okay, say whatever you believe in. Don't worry about things. Privacy is important, but that's different. Like, okay, what I'm saying is that especially American, the American programmers, hacker types, you have this. It's like all day their brain is just about privacy and this that. It has become very bad to society and to yourself. I mean, it has done huge damage to yourself. Why? Because for example, let me give you an example. Let me sidetrack, okay, from teaching oneself a little bit. Let me give you an example. You go to Reddit, okay, or you go to YouTube, or or even Twitter, okay. Let's say Reddit and YouTube. You go there, you watch any YouTube video, and you see a huge bunch of comments, right? Let's just go to YouTube. Let's see, let's say what the hell. Let's go to YouTube. Let's show some examples. What's going on? YouTube.com. Yay! The wonders of videos of the billions of people around the world and what are they doing, and the wondrous technology that can show it to us all. Okay, lots of these things. Let's pick something that's okay. Funny clips. Let's pick this one. Rick and Morty. Evil Morty wins. It's slow when I'm doing video. I guess it's kind of slow. So am I still talking? I'm talking. That's good. Okay. So there it is. A YouTube. Let's go back here. Hey, Green Deck. Oh, Green Deck, I want to ask you a question. That Twitter guy, is that you? Who we had argument a little bit about uh, what is the subject about psychology? Is that you? So anyway, let me get back to the topic. So here we have a YouTube video. Okay, now you have 177 comments. Okay. Now look at this comment. This one JJJB. Okay. This one Tomahawk Play. Okay, in this video, this one Soviet Nuggets. You go to any video, YouTube video, you see most of the majority of the comments are anonymous. Okay, and but forget for a moment about the names. Just look at their comments. It's all crap. It's like it's all 90% of the comment is brainless crap, including on Reddit. Okay, on Reddit, any topic, doesn't matter what topic, it doesn't matter. It's a political topic, it's technology, about keyboards, about programming, any topic. You go, you read the comments. 90% is like pure crap. I mean, it's they people do not even try. Has become a point where everyone just go there is this that and sometimes just post things to win the thumb up or vote up. Society has become that. With comment is supposed each person you discuss your thoughts or whatever opinions or but today it's not like that at all. The comment on websites has become, they are not opinions about something. They are the nature, the nature of today's comment. They are like, half of it is like each person posting some soundbite, and soundbite like memes or soundbite or dribbles, dribbles, or things like that. It has been removed from any humanity. I mean, it's not about a person who, whoever you are, your thinking, your opinions, or your applause, your recommendation of this content or whatever. It's, or you agree or you just disagree. It's not about that anymore. It's like memes or craps or who's more funnier. It has become that. And part of the reason is uh, I would say, okay, part of the reason is this anonymous fuck. Okay, because somehow the Western society, especially let's just say America. Okay, because I live here, I know here. I know I do not know that much about Europe or Australia. Okay, but so let me just limit to America and Canada. Because I lived in Canada for 3 years. So America, Americans, the mentality, the programmers, they every day, yeah, privacy and so on. We have like the concern about privacy has been going on for 20 years. Since 1990s, since Netscape invented cookies. Yeah, we cry about it every day for 20 years because I was there. We cry about privacy, cookies, how to remove cookies and so on. And every day for 20 years we do that daily. And look at what has happened today. Today is far worse to a degree you cannot possibly even prevent. There's a phone, as you know, smartphones. If you have today it has become a situation you have to have a smartphone to live. Okay, you gotta have a smartphone to have a normal life, to pay stuff, to not even well, you know what I mean. It's like to travel, to go anywhere, to almost do anything. If you don't have a smartphone, it's kind of, you become odd. You are the fringe of society. So you need a smartphone almost to do anything, especially if you open a business and something more important, then you need a smartphone. And these days, you even need a smartphone to open website accounts. They don't let you if you don't have a phone number. So you have a smartphone, and the smartphones you cannot, even if you are a programmer like us, tech nerds, you cannot control. Like there's apps there, they know everything about you. It's almost like impossible to prevent that if you use a phone. Okay, and we are not even talking about the FBI, and they have they have more advanced things. So it has happened, it has become that because so, and you are still like the hacker type, the open source. Every day is like, oh, we need privacy, oh, this that. For 20 years we've been saying that, but the privacy concern, the wellness of programmers, the privacy, or every citizen, has become a magnitude worse, compared to 20 years ago. And wake up, guys. These geeks, you guys, programmers, wake up. It's you are being brainwashed. That's what you are, because the corporation, they want you, you little geeks, little niche groups, they want you to cry about privacy, because actually that doesn't matter. There has no consequence. Instead, what actually happens is that the Google, Facebook, they become more and more and more powerful. You little fringe groups, you hackers who think, oh, we are concerned about privacy, open source, you become fringe and fringe, and you are censored. Like right now they are doing censorship on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere. You become nothing. And you still chant, like every day you chant about open source. Oh, we need open source. What does open source do? Open source, what it does is rob you any power you have. It totally eroded away, because open source, they benefit Google, yeah, Google, Facebook. You have nothing. You do open source because the programmers, half of you, okay, on what at day, you chant about open source, uh, but in the daytime you go work for Google, which is patent ridden. They have thousand patents, with 100 lawyers, a lawyer pack. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook. Yeah, you work for them, and at night you sing open source. Oh, we love open source, and you spend your time to contribute to GitHub, and you rob my any livelihood who do not work for open source. You rob Richard Stallman's livelihood, because you fucking work for this evil company. You make a lot of money. Well, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. You make a lot of money. Your life is comfortable. You drive Tesla or whatever. You talk about Apple's latest toys. Oh, iPhone. How I like this iPhone. No, I don't think that iPhone or Apple. Apple. MacBook or whatever, stuff. Then at night you do open source. Oh, yeah, yeah, we should open source. What are you doing? You know, you are robbing. Look, forget about opinions. Just look at what happens in the past 20 years. The power of individuals, the power of each little person, like you and me, is gone. You have no power. It doesn't matter how good programmers are. What you gonna do? Yeah, you are a great programmer. You go work for Google. That's what you do. What, you have no other choice. What do you think? You're gonna do a open source? You go GitHub, write a great program. Open source, you get no money. You think all of you open source people say, oh, we don't like ads, but however, we love to donate my ass. I've seen, I know what happens. Donate, you don't get nothing, no money. You put ads on your website, you get 100 times more than donation from the open source Fox. Because I run in my Emacs site, I know. In the moment you put ads on your website, all the open source people distance from you. That's what I know. I've gone through hunger. I want one day I want to I'm hungry. I need to buy a banana, 25 cents a quarter for a banana. I don't have 25 cents to buy a banana because I'm hungry. I've happened This has happened, most of you guys know, happened in 2013. That is the situation of open source, and it has become an ideology. so stop, try to think about, I think we have done open source for 20 years. There's endless stories. Open source, they try to make, once in a while, like 1 in a million open source people, they get a lot of donations, and all the website is singing songs about it. Oh, I got, I got donations, thanks to you guys, a lot of people, $7,000 back in, 5 years ago, also, 2012 or 2013. But that's not comparable. You work at Google, you get $10,000 a month. Okay, that's a lot of you open source guys. $10,000 a month. Now, for the random, open source guy, let's just say me. Okay, how much I get in 10 years? I got $10,000. Well, you open source Fox, working for Google and sing open source songs. Yeah, you get $10,000 a month. I don't work for Google. I don't work for Facebook. I don't work for no companies. I get $10,000 in 10 years. So what is this? Yeah. So anyway, I digress. So, and this is kind of also related to the the anonymous. It's not, the thing about these things is that, open source, the idea, or the free software philosophy, I mean, it's a good idea, you help people and so on, but by by these little deviations, because corporations, they have lots of, they control your thought, you don't even know it. By these little twists and turns, it has become, what is a great open source company today? That's Microsoft. Microsoft today, it's said, on Hacker News, they actually they are in terms of, contribution, they have the largest number of open source contributions, and now they are doing Linux in Microsoft Windows. So what is going on? Okay, so let me make a final kind of conclusion. Okay, so the open source, let's remember, why do we want open source? I mean, what is it about open source that we must love it? I mean, what is the benefit? What is the goal? Here's what I say. Okay, the open source, the ultimate benefit, it's, of course, there's two camps. The Free Software Foundation camp, there's the open source camp. They are enemies. Okay, if you don't know history, look it up. They are still enemies. So, but to me, okay, let me just say, the ultimate goal of the open source or Free Software Foundation is that it gives individual, us, the power, okay, to to share programs. Well, that's not what they say. Okay, the free software, their philosophy is that, I mean, ultimately they are saying open source, I mean, free software is that you can share. That's the point. Share. The pleasure of sharing programs. On the other hand, the open source camp, they say the ultimate goal, the benefit, the goodness about open source is that the code is open so everyone can look. Okay, but let me say, but they are all related to this thing about, what I want is the power to the individual, not the corporations. Like today we have the giant Google, Facebook, evil empire. There's nothing you can do. There's, like, they are so powerful. Anyway, so we had 20 years of open source. It's not doing any individually good. Okay, and look at society; it has gone bad. And while you guys are people programmers are chanting about open source, what is it still good about it? You can look at source code. Okay, uh, well, you know, so Google, most Google, these companies, Amazon, they went to cloud. What are you gonna do? It's today's society is like all cloud. Why did they go to cloud? Because of open source. Do you know? Do you rather wish everything you have control on your computer, or do you like the cloud thing? Why did they go to cloud? Why did the whole society becomes cloud based? So-called cloud. Fuck euphemism. That basically means their server, they control everything. Cloud. Why society becomes cloud? Because it's inevitable, or something, or what? It is because part of the reason is because open source. Because when you have open source, they cannot make money. But meanwhile, the open source chant is everywhere. It's unstoppable. So the only solution for them to survive, to make money, is let's go to cloud. We are a service. We are open source, but we are a service. That's how they make money. So that's everything went to cloud. That's what happens with these open source. So anyway, so think about that. Okay. So so let's see the comments. Okay. Okay, Green Deck. Okay, I see what you're saying. Fuba says, I agree with your take on open source and contributing to these corporations. Uh, Amai Zad says, good evening, good evening. You are furious tonight, and I can tell. Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm furious. Like it's just a rant about open source, because I was, like I talked about this in previous videos. I was a fan, of Richard Stallman. Um, but anyway, this as you know, this is a controversial issue. But let me emphasize, this issue is controversial, and I don't know how old are you guys, okay? But if my age, people my age, okay, I'm 50. We lived through it. We fight. We talked about open source every day. There was no Hacker News then. There was Slashdot. There's other online forums. We've been going through this happening. Is 20 years. Um, so I mean, it's a controversial. I mean, it's like since every day, 20 years, people talk about, discuss. There's every year there's a different kind of big drama. Today to talk about them is like history. Nobody cares. Do you care about history? Like you don't care. Like you don't even know what's going on 10 years ago. You just care about today's. Oh, Google released something new. That's open source. Oh, yay! Great for open source. That's what you do. That's Google wants you to do too, because that's anyway. Then this has been going on for 20 years. What you gonna do? And I'm so each year there's some major drama. One day it's Richard Stallman versus someone in open source, some big guys. Okay, Richard Stallman versus Linus Torvalds. The guy who created Linux. They have a fallout on GPL3. GPL3 is itself so many controversies. Issues. This GPL3 is about like 8 years ago, or it's 10 years ago. Time get past fast. Everything every year there's issues, but then it becomes history, and we have today. Um, so what are you guys think about it, what you guys singing open source songs for? I don't think it's good. It's not good for society. It's not good because it has become ideology, and the nature, the whole thing has changed. And also let me mention, okay, since we are on this topic, let that be today's topic then. Today you have code of conduct. It's incredible evil, the code of conduct today thing. okay, on GitHub. And GitHub, by the way, it's a centralized power structure. It's like, you know we we are concerned as nerds. We are concerned about open source or privacy. We don't want centralized things, but that's all there is. Um, so anyway, so get yeah, so code of conduct. The thing about code of conduct is that when you have open source project, okay, you each of us, we may contribute meaning 黄生啊，我不吃了啊。So my roommate asked me to eat. So 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 contribution, okay. So GitHub, we when you have some open source on project on GitHub, you like it a lot, you write code to, you actually contribute your time, your time and energy to the project, in hope of, as kind of a gesture to you contribute as a good gesture. uh, but the but the code of conduct, it's such a evil scheme, okay. It kind of reverse this situation. So code of conduct is like, so they are saying that they are trying to help minorities or weak people to contribute. It's kind of very strange, because if you really want to help the minorities, so-called minorities, or people of color, or me, people of color, okay, or the poor subs, in society, me, for example. And you want to help them, the if you really want to help them, you want to tell them to, hey, go start your own project. That's how you really help them. Not fucking tell them to contribute to the centralized giant huge repository, that they tends to be, centralized powerful. These, you just got these few things. So that is the evil nature of the code of conduct. On the surface they say they are helping something, but actually they are, that's part of the brainwashing at work. They reverse the whole situation. They kind of implicitly reverse the whole situation about who is helping who. When you contribute, you are spending fucking your time, and you are spending your time, days, to put your code to them. You are helping them. But the code of conduct, kind of, they give you an impression. They reverse that. They are saying, I am helping you guys to help you to help me. So you contribute your code to me because I'm helping you with the code of conduct. That's a fuck. Why does that happen? Because you open source fucks. You open source fuckheads. Open source every day, because the open source, not in the beginning, okay, it's a good movement. But it has become ideology and all corrupted. It's like all bad. Why do you think code conduct happens? Why do you think it happens? Try, think about that issue for an hour every day for a month. Try to think. No pain, no gain. So from today on, spend 1 hour, whatever that hour is, a pleasure to you, watching movies, be with your family, or eat, go to a restaurant, whatever. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Spend that hour to think about why code of conduct happens, why open source, why these things happens. Then you start to learn something about it, the nature, what is open source. Maybe in the end, after do that, spend 1 hour about open source. Just think about this, like a philosophy. After 1 month, maybe you are more, you even think you are right. Open source, you should go all the way to support it. That's good. Then that's good. I have no, then tell me what you think. Then tell me, I'll learn something. Okay, that should conclude the rant. I hope. Uh, so Fuba says the philosopher Nietzsche, I don't know how to pronounce his name, has a good explanation of what the motives of groups and individuals are. The desire to gain power. He also has a good explanation for the psychology of the extreme left. Yeah, I'm kind of old. Okay, I'm 50, not too old, but to me, I'm a few more years I'll be done for. So about these people, I mean, when I'm doing videos, and I really appreciate you guys watching it, to hear what I say. But many comments, I've been there. I'm old. Niches. I've heard it many times since 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So what you gonna do? I mean, that's kind of like how life goes on. You get born, then you are young, then you want to make something out of yourself. You learn things, you maybe argue, you do some things. Then you have a family. You get old, then you die. So for now, I don't have like a lot of the questions or opinions or challenges like what okay, like maybe some people say, oh, let's you love Emacs, let's compare, let's see who's more efficient. Or my with VI, I've been there like for 20 years. I lost, there's not much excitement of those kind of things for me anymore, because I've seen it. I've been there. I've been doing it. I've been arguing. I've been called a troll for like over 20, 10 years. So he calls the morality of the extreme left slave. Yeah, slave morality. I agree. Uh, Fuba says the code of conduct is a manifestation of slave morality, which is a Christian morality divorced from God. The Jews created Christianity to overthrow the Roman Empire by making them sympathetic. That's interesting. Yeah, I read a little bit about that. Slave morality about 10 years ago. Um, that so this kind of topic. So on the surface, a lot of people suggested, this guy Nietzsche. So many of his ideas, I agree. I would even say I agree strongly. I see many of his, I mean, point of view or philosophy. I like his ideas and viewpoints. Um, so yeah, so let's see. What else? Green Deck, haven't seen you for a while. Uh, good evening. What is it in Russia? Good morning in Russia. So let's see. Is it 6 o'clock in the morning? So Fuba, Zachary, Emacs anywhere. Emacs anywhere. Good. Uh, Emacs anywhere. I have to look. I have to look up. So well, yeah. Great to see you, Fuba. Um, So is that about it? What else to talk about? So I was talking about, the topic was about autodidactism. Some tips about learning things oneself. You can learn things oneself, and yeah, that's. I don't know what. I don't really have some rant or something about that thing. So I always, it would be great. I always thought it would be magical to have, in Japanese comics, there's a famous comics called Doremi. I think it's called Doremi anime. Okay, let's see, because let's show you. Let's see. So you need to wait. I need to go to images. Oh yeah, that's not the right name. This Doremi. Oh yeah, Doremi. No, that not that. Uh, no, not that. Uh, Doraemon, I think. Does anyone know? Say it, say it. Oh yeah, there, there. So this is extremely popular Japanese cartoon, animation, back in 1970s, and to this day it's extremely popular. It's so popular to the degree that this is like you can compare to Mickey Mouse in a Western societies. Everyone knows Mickey Mouse, but in Japan and also in Taiwan and in China, I think I'm not sure about China, but at least in Taiwan, Japan, this character, this animation, it's everyone knows. And to this day, there's so many. You go to a supermarket. There's lots of food, made in this character's shape. Yeah, so I watched this when I was in Taiwan, back in 1980s. Uh, so this thing, so this character, so what? So oh yeah, so in this cartoon, in one of the comics, episode, one of the they have this story where they have this story mom is a cat from the future. Okay, he's got this pocket. This pocket is a magical pocket. He always have things from the pocket, and magical things. For example, in one episode, he pick up from the pocket. There's a sandwich. Okay, there's a sandwich, where like a bread sandwich, where you open a book and you take the sandwich. You can press the sandwich on the book, so that whatever text on the book is on the sandwich, it will be printed onto the sandwich. Then you eat the sandwich. Then you memorize that page, everything about that. So that was a great. I was thinking, that was a great. Well, that was a great way, great invention to learn. For example, if you are a student in college, you are doing, a math exam tomorrow. You have math exam, so you just take this bread and and get all the formulas on it and eat it. Then you can remember all that. So yeah, self-teaching, it's a great thing. Personally, that's what I learned, and what I want to, one I always hoped, like 30 years ago when I was younger, I hoped there is some way to speed up the learning process, because I so much, I mean, even today I so much, for example, there's so much mathematics. I really want to know, but learning math is extremely slow, especially. Also, the thing about self-learning is that it's slow. It's when you have a teacher, it's much faster, much more efficient. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't want to put a scale, but it's like 2 times or 10 times more efficient, like faster. You can, for example, let's say you want to learn group theory. Okay, now I assume you are a programmer. Let me assume you don't know what group theory is about, abstract algebra in math. You can go to Wikipedia or find some textbook and try to read it. It's gonna be, you can learn it for 10 hours. You will not get far, and it's also boring. You don't know what it is talking about. Even a suitable book, you already know the prerequisite. You can read it, but however, the process is slow. But however, if you have a guide or if you have a teacher, for example, I can teach you the basics of group theory. I've done that in previous video. I can teach you that in 1 hour. You really learn a lot. It's because you have a guide. You know why we are doing this, and you can ask questions too, interactively. So you get to know why we are doing it. You see the facial explanations when we explain something. because facial expressions and intonations, the voices, they convey lots of things you don't see in text. It's not in text. It's not in a book. They convey lots of informations implicitly. So when you have a teacher or guide, especially one on one, they teach you something. Maybe it's a programming. For example, if you are teaching someone programming, let's say maybe your children, maybe your sister or your brother, or maybe your dad, okay, you teach them programming, they learn. Because if, as compared to you tell them to read a book, they get it's the efficiency is very big. The difference efficiency is very big. So anyway, but still, not anyone can always get a teacher or find a teacher, right? And or otherwise you have to go to college, which is corrupted and very expensive, and half of the time your time is spent on driving the traffics or socializing. It's not about learning a lot. But universities like that today, it's highly corrupted and very bad. Anyway, so when you don't have a teacher, uh, self-learning is still important, so you need a skill. So read the books. Uh, so anyway, let me just summarize a few things about self-learning. Okay, it's about autodidacticism, or so it's a good thing. It's a good always to teach yourself. And then self-learning, the thing about self-learning is I would say related to personality a lot. If you are like most people are kind of more extrovert. Okay, they are extrovert. They like to socialize. They need to talk to people. They cannot sit home alone for a week. They get sick. Okay, so most people. So what I'm saying is that self-learning is related to personality. So for most people, they like to have interaction with people, which is great. They can learn from each other. They can self-help. Teach each other. Do things together. Uh, but for you guys nerds, for us, we can, well, it's related to personality. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's one thing. Then the other thing is a tip about self-learning. So what I want to say is that you want to find, don't blindly, just try to learn things. You want to find kind of a guide, like step by step, like where to learn, which one things to learn. And one of the great thing you can do is you go to a college, you look up their website and so on, find out, whatever you are interested in. For example, math or physics or whatever, psychology, other things. You find out what courses are for 4 years of college. What are the courses you have to study. They require you to take. Then also you find out the textbooks they assign to each course. Then that gives you a guide. That's a great way to find a guide, on which subject, which topic you want to go to. Then you can either buy the textbooks yourself and read it, or you can go to the library, or you can find similar books, because textbooks today are corrupted. They are extremely expensive. I've studied why textbooks become so expensive. Like calculus textbook today is like over $100. It's silly. And also the subject of calculus, much of math, they don't change actually, at least for undergraduate. They haven't been changed for 20 years at least. Okay, so it would be as much as good if you read a calculus textbook from 1990s. Okay, you can find them like in $2, $1. It's the same like the hundred over $100 today's textbook on calculus. Similarly, for physics or chemistry, this kind of hard sciences. So that's what I have to say about learning, self-teaching things. Okay. Uh, okay, so I guess that's it. So I've been talking for like half 90 minutes. Let's see. All right, anything else? Let me know. Type it, please. You have 10 seconds because there's some kind of delay when you type something, and when I say something, when it reaches you, and when you reply, then when I see it, there's some kind of 10-second delay. So type whatever you have, questions or whatever, and I'll see if I have, my answers or response. Then that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for coming by. How do we beat the extreme left? That's I don't know. That's we just have to get everyone to fight it. That's I hope. Yeah, that's what I hope for. And, yeah, I hope there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. There's like the 4chan group, the 4chan kind of people. Today they have 4channel, 4chan, 4channel, 8chan. Kind of people. They do memes and stuff. That's not my thing. So in general, I don't like. I don't. That's not my thing. So I rather wish people. I wish all you people. I don't mean to hash out, my opinions. I mean, I don't mean to insist on my opinions. You do whatever, is suitable for your life, whatever your environment. But what I hope to see is that I hope people, the geeks, nerds, start to, use your real name, and don't post the mean stuff. Maybe it's actually working. Maybe I don't know, but what for example, I myself tends to be, I use real name, say whatever I believe is true. You have to do that because when you have a face, and you are more respectable in public. When you talk about, no, I don't disagree, I think you are doing really bad things. You have to do that, and tell other people to do that. Start to stand, as opposed to, like this whole video I've been talking about, as opposed to becoming this niche group, this niche group in 4chan, or in whatever programming language group in IRC, become this niche anonymous, talking about cryptography, and all sort of deviant, programming techniques to, pass, get away from whatever things, you know that I yeah, I don't think that's really helping. We've been doing that for 20 years. It's like, you know so this is just me. Okay, I would rather hope people to stand for what you believe is true. I think, that okay. By the way, no worries. I mean, I don't mean, I always tends to get kind of argument with my followers. Okay, so it's not a concern of, really. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Fuba. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.